Hello, student math community. This is the follow-up video to the adding polynomials module that you may or may not have just done. We're going to talk quickly about subtracting polynomials, and in process, it's pretty much the same thing. We are going to collect our like terms. Just make note of this difference right here that we have. I got to get my pencil working. Sorry about that. We have a minus sign now between our two polynomials. So that changes one little thing. And so what I think the easiest thing to do, the easiest way to approach subtracting polynomials is like this. I think before you do anything, you should distribute this negative to both terms in the second polynomial. Subtracting polynomials will come up when you have to add and subtract rational expressions, when you are graphing, when you're solving equations. So getting this little technique down will be super helpful to you as you go forward in algebra. So the first polynomial, the 7x squared plus 15, I'm going to leave exactly the way it is for the moment. I'm not going to do anything to it. Now I'm going to distribute that negative. So a negative times the 3x squared is negative 3x squared. And a negative times a negative 11 is positive 11. At this point, I collect my like terms. So I have 7x squared minus 3x squared. That is 4x squared. If you remember what I told you in the collecting like terms video or the adding polynomials video, you do not touch the powers when you add your like terms. And then the 15 and the 11 gives me plus 26. I've just put down another example just to make sure I cover all my bases here. So again, I've got two trinomials. So I've got my 6x squared plus x minus 7. That is my first polynomial, and I'm not going to do anything with it. And now I'm going to distribute the negative. And so a negative times a negative 2x squared is plus 2x squared. A negative times a positive 8x is a negative 8x. And then a negative times a negative 5 is plus 5. So we'll finish this up. 6x squared plus 2x squared is 8 of them, 8x squared. I got a 1x. Remember, if there's not a number that you can see in front of a variable, there is a 1 there that is implied. So I have a 1x minus 8x, that's negative 7x. And then I have a negative 7 and a plus 5, and that is negative or minus 2. I'm going to advance the video, and I have some examples, so pause your video screen, do these three problems, and then check back with what I get. All right, welcome back. I hope you took the time to pause the video and do these three problems. So check your work with my work. So for this first problem, I've got 4a squared plus 6a. I'm going to now distribute the negative and get negative a squared, and distribute the negative again and get plus 12a. And when I collect the like terms, the 4a squared minus 1a squared is 3a squared, and then the 6a plus the 12a is 18a. One down, two to go. Same process for this second problem. The first polynomial, the 9x squared minus 2x plus 13 stays just the way it is. Now I will distribute the negative and get plus 4x squared, and then I will get minus 11x, and then I will have plus 7. Collecting the like terms, I've got a 9x squared and a 4. That's 13x squared. Again, not adding the power. I know that's a temptation. Negative 2x minus 11x is minus 13x. And then 13 and 7 is plus 20. The last problem is very similar. Good practice, though, so if you still haven't done it, pause the video, take care of it. But what it's going to look like is this. My first polynomial, the 21x squared minus the 8xy, and then minus the 14y squared, just comes along for the ride right now. Now I'll distribute the negative. So I've got negative 12x squared, and then plus 8xy, and then finally a plus 6y squared. When I go back and collect my like terms, I've got 21x squared and negative 12. That's 9x squared. Something nice happens on this problem. I've got a negative 8xy and a positive 8xy. A negative and a positive is 0xy, so we call that they cancel out. You don't need to write 0xy. If you have 0 of anything, it's just 0. And then I have negative 14y squared plus 6y squared is negative 8y squared. So there's a review of subtracting polynomials. You can go to the module below this, and there is a worksheet for you to have some extra practice. Don't forget to let me know if there's anything you need from me as far as help, and I wish you well.